All right, well, let's kick one off. Let's kick one off here. I'm going to be going through actually the thing I'm more inclined. So if you've seen this sugar diet guy, right? This is 8 years ago. And he's been preaching eating pure sugar forever. And he has a main premise behind this. And that is that he's really focusing in on a standalone carbohydrate source. Those look like the beautiful skies over Sacramento area. Let's see, is there any way to... No, it's maxed out, but this guy... you see that down there? Hashtag carb the fuck up. So, he's not vegan. He's not vegetarian so much in the sense that he is a carb standalone, right? But he's exercising all the time. So what I equate this to is if you can't afford or you don't have a safe place to go cycling, which around here in America, people like to run people over on bicycles. That's just a fact. I know too many people who have actually incurred massive damage to themselves, brain damage. One of my family members, as well as somebody that's really close to the family, went through that. One was thrown into a coma for weeks and never fully recovered. But this guy is basically touting eating a very high sugar, high carbohydrate. His main tenet is, you stick with the rice, throw some vegetable in there. If you want it, if you can afford it, eat more fruit, eat more vegetables, but mainly you run off fruit. He's kind of doing a more indigenous type eating process. It's according to... So when you look at standalone diets, the same thing, I'm doing the same thing with fat right now. I've just had this realization that I just kept getting leaner and smaller and losing more and more weight, right? The moment I realized it's just fat. Try not to overly focus on protein. Try not to, break your focal point. Either you're in gluconeogenesis and you're focusing too much on the proteins and the protein digestion, or you're not. Simplify. Give yourself a break, right? So this is him. It's Durian Writer. So obviously he's a big time writing channel. And this is him just some days ago, right? Look at how much leaner he got, right? He got even leaner. He lost that baby fat, got the gray hairs now. This is a given. This is just life. This is age. This is, living in our society. He's obviously making some money. He's got himself a fancy bike back here. Got this, fancy watch, and he's really trying to level things up, step it up. But you can see how he's extremely thin. Like I got almost that thin last year. Granted, I was hanging on to a few pounds, but I was I was between 5 and 7 pounds away from this last year, just on carnivore. So the whole point that I'm trying to make to this video is, here's, let's take a look. Videos. I just published this up, and I hadn't published it for quite a while because, so he'd done juice. He has videos where he was on it, and he said the stuff's so cheap in Australia that it costs him like $35 to stay on test. Why wouldn't he, right? So this is me on the on the stuff, right? If I can play it, let's see. Videos, dashboard, channel. Let's see, let's just go right onto the channel, right? And then we'll go down to videos. That was the one back there that I wanted to show you. I was literally just I was literally just so you can see the extra little bit of fat, but you can see the more muscle I had from, right? And I was about 7 pounds away from losing all that excess body fat, but I have this like terrible right? So a lot more muscle. And then of course I've achieved leaner than that, just off doing the gluconeogenesis. Let's take a look at this. I think I've got some videos ready to go on this. This guy is doing the sugar diet, but this Mark Smellybell character, he's doing, look how ripped he got, right? But look at their diet. They're just doing a standalone sugar for weeks at a time. This is Clarence Bass, who was the most ripped man for the longest period of time, wrote the book Ripped, and he focuses in more on carbohydrates, but more on like barley and stews and things like this. He's not overly obsessed with proteins. He also doesn't advocate for continuous all-day unending exercise, whereas if you really look at the people who are very lean and they stay that way, right? This gets into fat types, brown fat, the new beige fat, the BAT, brown adaptive tissue. What am I trying to find here, though? I was trying to show a, so that's what I was looking for. I'm going into shorts and I want to show this. So, I mean, there's me natural, right? Holding a little bit of water, but much leaner. And this is from gluconeogenesis right here. That's gluconeogenesis. This is just kind of a, that's gluconeogenesis right there. You can see it better on the phone, actually. Not quite as lean there, but you know, holding a little bit of fat, holding a little bit of water. That is what eating more protein does. Is it seems to store a little bit more on the lower. There I was very ripped. You can see the legs and the vascularity, but that's no highlighting or anything. That's just boom, right? And then on juice, here's some old footage of old school training back in the day. This is juicing. I had a lot more footage and I actually erased it. Let's see how well that's coming in there. I didn't realize how dramatic that back sweep was. And then here's a little footage on that I had to cut in half, obviously, because I'm nude here. But you can see all the water I'm holding from the testcipionate, but I was very, very lean in that photo, in that video. Right, so we've gone through several extremes over the years, right? And here I'm doing a lot of videos with high protein. Got the eggs, so you have a base. Well, right now, you know, I woke up doing the beef liver, right? And that's something I'm a huge advocate of, is beef liver. But you can see how the tendency is to keep going more toward the fat and you can't see the fat in this miracle power pudding, protein powder power pudding, but I pack at least 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons, 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there. But what am I doing this week? Why am I even doing this video? Because I am doing a coffee. I'm doing a protein style tea, actually, where I'm throwing in a whole pat of butter and heavy cream in with my tea. This morning I had my beef liver. I'm probably going to eat a little more beef liver later. I'm also on the Orthomolecular. Let's look this up too. We're going to go into orthomolecular.org. And this is one that I think everybody should be on. So we got orthomolecular medicine. So orthomolecular.org here. And down below here, so you got the AI. And then we're going to say, let's look her up. Billy J. Saley. Right, that's how you spell it. Sahley. And we're going to read what this comes up with, because I really believe in Billy J. Saley's approach to this, and that is don't have information. Oh, wow. So they really separated themselves from that. Let's put in her title and see what they come up with. Heal with amino acids and nutrients. Linus Pauling should have been more descriptive than just writing things, right? Making them right in his esteemed ortho. Okay, so at least her tutelage is in here. And it may be based on information rather than namesakes. So we'll give it that. We'll give the AI that. Let's see if they have. So it looks like they're taking off their archives. Let's see if they give her graces here. Let's go back a little further on the volume 17th, right? 17th. Summary, Nutrients 2021. Let's see if they cite her. But yeah, ascorbic acid. So I woke up doing 2,000 milligrams plus the magnesium. I mean, look at, so the glute. So there's a real debate here with amino acids and cancers and so forth. I think when you're focusing in on a standalone. So if you have any issues, looking up or any particular authors, but let's look up Thomas. Let's look up Dr. Thomas Levy, right? Let's see if anything comes up on him, because he's a big advocate of Levy's a big advocate of orthomolecular science and nutrition. So I'm thinking, yeah, no Billy J. Saley, but they got plenty of, but they did have 3 site materials based on orthomolecular heal with amino acids and nutrients. So let's look that up. So we've got healing with amino acids and nutrients, right? Role of amino acids in healing. Amino acids are essential for various physiological processes, including tissue repair, immune function, and the synthesis of enzymes and hormones. For example, cysteine, glycine, and glutamine are critical for glutathione synthesis, a powerful antioxidant that reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. Supplementation with N-acetylcysteine, NAC, has been shown to improve glutathione levels, enhancing immune defense and reducing the severity of respiratory infections. This is 2023. Nutritional therapy for chronic illnesses, orthomolecular medicine, emphasizes the use of nutrients at optimal levels to correct deficiencies and support the body's natural healing processes. For instance, niacin. So that's what we're giving my son. Currently, he's seeing some positives, I think, but it is keeping him up late because he's not taking it at the appropriate times, nor the appropriate amounts. Yeah. Used to address NAD deficiency, which is linked to a multigenesis and cancer risk. Dosage of 500 to 1,000 milligrams a day are recommended for cancer patients to restore. So I don't know how it got onto the cancer subject, but I digress. Vitamin D3 and selenium, right? These nutrients are vital for immune modulation and cancer prevention. A combination of 125 micrograms a day of vitamin D3 with 100 micrograms a day of vitamin K2 and 100 to 200 micrograms a day of selenium is suggested. Orthomolecular Medicine News 2023. Synergistic nutrient combinations, combining nutrients known to work synergistically, can optimize healing. For example, in cancer therapy, restricting glucose and glutamine. Okay, so that's a big one. And they're finding more methods to just completely block glutamine during cancer treatments because cancer can thrive on glutamine alone without any oxygen or glucose. While supplementing with nicotinamide and maintaining adequate vitamin D levels has shown promise in improving treatment outcomes. Orthomolecular Medicine News Service 2023. So this is all taken from 2023. Obviously, post-COVID height, right? Nutritional support in severe illnesses, in cases of severe viral illnesses or sepsis, co-administration of vitamins, minerals, and probiotics alongside standard care has significantly reduced mortality rates. This highlights the importance of a comprehensive nutritional support system to critical care. Historical and clinical evidence, the use of nutrients for healing is not new. Historical examples such as the treatment of scurvy with vitamin C demonstrate the effectiveness of nutritional interventions. Modern clinical cases also show the benefits of high-dose vitamin C, ketogenic diets, and other nutrient-based therapies in managing chronic and acute conditions. And as I've said on this channel, I have been on high-dose vitamin C, which is above at least around 5,000 or 6,000 milligrams a day. It doesn't mean that's what's getting into my body, but into my system, right? But I'm also taking that in conjunction with beef liver. I've been doing that for the past 3 weeks, and then I've been doing high-dose vitamin C and high mileage walking for a month and a half now. Conclusion: healing with amino acids and nutrients is a scientifically supported approach that leverages the body's natural biochemistry to address deficiencies, reduce oxidative stress, and promote recovery. This method is particularly effective when tailored to individual needs and combined with conventional treatments. So I wasn't trying to specifically go toward cancer, and I've been wanting to kind of test this out and see how the search engine is, right? And then let's do justice here with this. Let's see if we go home. It really wants us to use this like to detriment, right? To detriment. So this is home. Let's see, the most recent. So if you want to do the most recent, you'll go here, where I'm at here, when you get on the page, and it'll say Orthomolecular Medicine News Releases. And again, they kind of want you to reference, obviously, you're reading through this and then you're asking questions, right? And that's awesome. That's an awesome educational, but you have to ask yourself, are they really trying to overly brainwash you too? Because I've seen this orthomolecular camp change faces and names several different times. And the fact that you can't just look up Billy J. Saley there and see something pop up, It's saying, well, and then I remember an orthomolecular doctor putting my son on a shit ton of medicine, right? Instead of the orthomolecular therapies that are suggested here. So the fact that he got that moniker is, it's not following along with what Linus Pauling initially suggested. And there's his picture right there. And if they're really like pushing certain agendas, which obviously if they have this search engine, right, I think you just go over here and you can just get it right back up, that lightning bolt. Had enough of vitamin bashing newspaper. And this is saving grace in the first sentence, so I appreciate that. Magazine and TV reports. Then you might want to sign up for the Orthomolecular Medicine News Service, OMNS. Like the Associated Press of Reuters, OMNS is a wire service style news feed directed to members of the press, radio, and TV news media. The difference is that OMNS tells it like it really is. Vitamin therapy saves lives. And that was a big thing that I make, like around 1993, when Big Pharma was buying off all these people, and some people actually brainwashed themselves into thinking that Big Pharma was actually out to do some good, and we see that that's absolutely not true. We could get really deep into that. Linus Pauling was being silenced, called this senile megalomaniac, and his claims were suppressed. So the fact that it's reached this is amazing, and this is an invaluable resource. You really want to use the search engine and go in, and I just wanted to do a little deeper dive in a casual conversation to say that this is one huge resource that you don't want to let just slip away from you, right? And plus, you want to patronize them, because if you don't, they're going to disappear. And they are so much more critical, so much more viable. I mean, when you get a deficiency in niacin, especially you get a deficiency in magnesium and you're dead, which Dr. Thomas Levy really tries to support, right? But also when your vitamin C levels drop low. And also Thomas Levy is a big advocate of methylene blue, showing the huge benefits of using methylene blue. So this isn't just exclusive to amino acids and supportive nutrients. It's supportive to everything that works in an orthomolecular or writing sense, that writes your metabolism and writes your homeostasis, right? And that's what it's really all about. And so I just wanted you to look that up, do some research of your own, in spite of where you're coming from, but really use this resource over here, right? This AI to say, to punch in any contraindications that you have. If you have any medical concerns, if you have allergies, I guarantee you're going to be able to figure out and sort of mitigate and monitor your way around those constraints.